So I'm about ready to draw a line in my GenAI experiment, so I thought I would just describe it beginning to end. You can check out parts 1 to 4 and see how the side project evolved, but this is kind of taking it as far as I want to take it without putting it live, and I really don't want to do that for various reasons. But it calls OpenAI, and I'll kind of explain how it does that. So I've got like a web front end, and as you choose these options here, so let's say Lisbon 3 nights. I'm interested in culture and relaxation. What that's doing is it's building up a string, just a sentence in JavaScript on the page, and it looks a bit like this. So this is the prompt that we're sending over to OpenAI. Suggest places to visit in Lisbon. And this is all generated from your options that you've selected. Create a 3-day itinerary containing 3 activities per day for people with interests in blah. And that will get you most of the information. And we can prove that by just typing that directly into ChatGPT. Now, the problem with that is that, first of all, I can swap out the different places and the different activities of interest, but the content it comes back in might be in different formats every time. It's bizarre. You might get dashes instead of these numbers, or day 1 might be in front of these sentences here. So I had to figure out a way of making it consistent, so I can just swap out the different places and the different interests and the different number of days, and it would turn it exactly the same format. So then what I had to do is start being more specific with a prompt and saying, okay, return in JSON format, and then saying exactly what the format I want for it to return in. So once you've done that, the response will look a bit like this. So all the information that we've just had, but broken down in a very structured way in JSON format. So we've got Lisbon as the location, 3 days. These are my array of interests I selected, and then an array of days, and then on each day it's got a day number, an array of activities, and each activity's even got a longitude and a latitude returned back with it. And this is just all back from OpenAI. It's not calling any other external data sources. This is all back from OpenAI. And just to prove that that is coming back from OpenAI, let's copy and paste that entire prompt into ChatGPT. And this is what my web app is sending across to the OpenAI API programmatically, and then retrieving and then processing and showing. So here you go. This is the JSON result being returned back. Don't need to watch it do that. So then once I've done that and hit create itinerary, it's going to do one of two things. That came back really, really quick. That's because it's got it from the cache. Because what I'm doing is, once I have received that information once for that location, that number of days, and those interests, I'm saving that locally. In reality, you'd probably save it off to Azure Blob Storage or some sort of database, but I've saved it locally. It's just a text file, and I'm checking to see if that exists before then again hitting the OpenAI for the same call, because there seems to be no point to me to hit OpenAI every time someone selects the same combination. And what I'm doing, interestingly, is that prompt that I just showed you then, here, that sentence, I'm hashing that to be a unique hash, and by that, I'll tell you what I mean by hash. It's taking a long string and then converting it into a short string like this, these nonsensical numbers. And then each of those hashes, or the file names there, represents that prompt. So each prompt will hash down into a shorter hash. So if I can open these, I can see exactly previous responses as they came back from OpenAI, and I'm just saving those away. And this way I can check to see if those exist before I even go off and hit OpenAI, saving on credits and making it a lot faster. So here I've retrieved it from a cache source, not had to hit OpenAI. And then because I've got the latitude and longitude for each of the activities, and I can plot them onto a map, which seems quite nice. And then I can click these, and it will say what that option is. I don't think latitude and longitude are quite correct because I've got a couple out here in the ocean, so that would need looking at. But yeah, it's quite cool, interactive map. And then lower down, I've got the activities to do each day as well, which is quite neat. And then for each of these, I could click on view a map, and then it will zoom it to exactly where it is on the map. And then for more information, I've not done anything for that yet, but I was going to go off and do a separate API request to OpenAI and retrieve even more information and save that locally as well. So you only have to retrieve that once. And then the thing I've done is these images. Now I'm going off and calling another API, this time from a company called Unsplash. And this is, again, got free access. So I'm effectively going off and saying, get me images of the different activities or different places. So it's going to open that now, isn't it? Come on. So here we go. If I take that file name, just to prove it's going off and hitting that, I'm sending it off to Unsplash API and then retrieving the first image it returns for that. Different image. I must have put Lisbon in it or something before or after it. Anyway, it's taking the first image and then saving that locally again so that it can just retrieve it from the local cache. So that is generative AI, just a bit of an experiment of what we can do by creating a prompt dynamically, sending that over to OpenAI, and either saving that or going off and making that call and then showing the information. It's quite interesting. If I was going to do this further, if I was going to take this side project further, I'd probably get back more information, things like what is the average temperature in this location, and you can do this. You know, it's pretty simple. Let's do that here. So let's say list average monthly temperatures in Lisbon. If I can spell temperatures. And then obviously you'd replace that location with the place you're after. And again, you could be explicit how it returns that. So you can store that, because if I ask the same question again for a different location, the format will be slightly different. Just a quirk with OpenAI, you need to be quite explicit in the formats you return if you're going to be using that data. So yeah, I could go off and do that. Else I could go off and hit a holiday provider API for this location and then put some ads in here in case people are interested in going off to this place and booking a holiday, get some affiliate revenue, something like that. So that is generative AI tours. It's been a bit of a process to get it here. I've done this in my spare time, but I've enjoyed it, learned a bit about generative AI and OpenAI. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And follow me on Engage or follow me on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn to see more experiments like this. So I'm going to draw a line into this now. I think I'm just going to get diminishing returns, spending more time on this project. So I'm going to commit the source code and move on to another interesting project. Okay, thank you very much. Bye now.